Blog Talk Radio.
Oh my God, that is so him. Did you see him? That's really a Sears, that guy right there. Yeah, that one with the feathers. Oh my God, isn't he so beautiful? He's just so dreamy, you know? And I really love being around him. He's absolutely fabulous. It's just that, every time I talk to him, he's just about this black talk, everything he says is just so black. It's just like black. I mean, I don't even, know what to say to him sometimes. It's like so black, and it's black people, and it's black stuff, and it's black hair, and it's black thing. I mean, it sometimes drives me crazy. Do you know what I mean, Sally? I mean, do you?
I talk that black talk, that you out in white talk. Can't walk, push it talk, jacking like a beanstalk. Open up, let us in. We be about that dividend. We be about that major move. Ain't think about no extra friends. We want that black talk, and you out in white talk. Can't walk, push it talk, jacking like a beanstalk. Open up, let us in. We be about that dividend. We be about that major move. Ain't think about no extra friends.
Well, I huff and puff, blow the whole house down. Ain't just sound, that's time for the down. People come from miles around. I make this white folks start to frown, because they know when the chips are down. I'm a type of nigga burn the whole shit down. Wear that crown on my head. Maybe maroon, maybe red, maybe Morocco, maybe Fed. Most act live when they really dead. Beta Satan, they be waiting. Wanna eat the food when you get it on the plate and the Satan's taking 8 cents. They oats on empty books. A society based on looks. Lucifer cooked the books, but I'm proof that by the door. Call me that noble Moor. Navigate the 7 seas. Crusaders all they need. Call me that black or pope. I sell these crackers dope. That's round them in like rope. Ask me if I like them, no. My quote's already dope. Before this rhyme was wrote. Simple across that castle moat. Cause I'm the one that's dope. I find a way to talk about that black talk every day. That's how I always say that I am here to say that black talk, that you out in white talk. Can't walk, push it talk, jacking like a beanstalk. Open up, let us in. We be about that dividend. We be about that major move. Ain't think about no extra friends. We want that black talk, and you out in white talk. Can't walk, push it talk, jacking like a beanstalk. Open up, let us in. We be about that dividend. We be about that major move. Ain't think about no extra friends.
When I walk in the party, it be like who is showed it. I feel they eyes up on me, cause I'm the one they wanted. Because I got it, flown it. I teach it, take it, tone it. I whip it, rip it, show it. Like Zora on a horse it. Just glamour, glitch and glossing. Just wait when flying, flossing. I spend so much it's costly. Empress is gumbo saucy. Niggas is mad cause I lost me. Another life, another time, get off me. Cause I'm that earthly coffin. Black Bonner be the boss it. White folk, they love feeding off me. But I be killing them softly. So if you bring that here, you better be very clear. The use that tears an empress of 10,000 years is here. Putting black talk in your ear. That truth you might just fear.
I talk that black talk, that you out in white talk. Can't walk, push it talk, jacking like a beanstalk. Open up, let us in. We be about that dividend. We be about that major move. Ain't think about no extra friends. We want that black talk, and you out in white talk. Can't walk, push it talk, jacking like a beanstalk. Open up, let us in. We be about that dividend. We be about that major move. Ain't think about no extra friends.
Peace to you and the fans of the planet Earth. You are now tuned in to Super Heru Radio. I am your host, I see the Duke of Tears, along with my brother, Saga Asad. You there, homie? My brother, Asad, can you hear me? Sure. You plugged in? As you can tell, people, there's always something going on with our technological stuff. It seems like it's always like an issue, But regardless of what we hear, and we're going to get into it. Regardless of what. You there? Son? Well, just in case, just to let you know, when he calls in, we're going to continue. But so many things have been going on this week, people. I just want to make sure that we all on the same page and that we all can consistently stay abreast about all of the crazy stuff that's going on. one of the major things that I've seen going on, specifically, Assad, you there? Okay, he didn't come in yet. One of the things that I've been seeing going on consistently in the news, last week we talked about how Timothy Geithner was, who is the Secretary of Treasury, for those that don't know, rebuilding on it. And people don't know that he's been arrested. Essentially, he's able to continue his job right now because he's got a LoJack, meaning one of those what do you call those things? Those anklets. The judicial jewelry they be putting on everybody. He got one of them joints on him based on a deal that went down with the Chinese government back in the day, and them laundering a lot of their money. This is in the news right now. You know what I'm saying? But it's not in American news, of course, because American news is inundated with a bunch of rhetoric that really has nothing to do, or really should not be called news journalistically. A brief history on what the Secretary of Treasury's job is that he basically is supposed to discharge all of the debts that are basically set up for, or that have been incurred by the so-called United States. As he has been an active, let's say, participant in a lot of the, chicanery that's been going on in the cipher, a lot of people are basically stepping away from him, which is then causing him to be scapegoated for the whole thing. So based on that, what they've decided to do is basically keep it all quiet by allowing him to be prosecuted by the international authorities. This is also tied in kind of to the Haiti thing, which is also something we're going to build on, which is basically the coming war in South America. So, Assad, are you in it?
You. Peace, family. Peace, family. Peace to all the listeners.
Yeah. So, yeah, we were talking, I was basically getting in on your man Timmy Geit. Geithner the Lightner. Yeah. He basically, also people don't realize that he was involved in the savings and loan scam. He come from a long line of swindlers, you know what I'm saying? And what we should also establish, what everybody should really pay attention to, just like we talked about last week, is that your material government, your so-called United States or governments of the world, all of those governments are saturated with post-Operation Paperclip alumni, meaning that basically all of the governments of the world today that's being run in their present position, even the black ones, a lot of them have agents and participants in those governments that were directly from the demise of the so-called Nazi Party. In essence, they are part of what is considered the Fourth Reich. The Third Reich was the Hitler thing. The Fourth Reich is all of the worlds and all of the governments in the world being inundated with Nazis. That's the Fourth Reich. And then the Fifth Reich is black people and anybody that's not white fighting for white supremacy. So technically, we're in the Fifth Reich right now. What do you think about that, homie?
I think it's extremely true. I mean, look at the climate of the times, and so all those listeners that chance, there's a series on the History Channel that was actually building on that about 2 or 3 days ago. So it may be coming back on again. So y'all should look out for it. They was basically on the whole joint, Operation Paperclip, to basically how everybody running these different forms of government agencies are now the descendants of those Operation Paperclip and alumni or people that came over here, after World War II. So all those people, CIA, FBI, Justice Department, all these bigwigs in all these organizations are the descendants of those people that came over here, through Operation Paperclip, and finally to places like South America, et cetera, as well. So, as you just mentioned, I'm saying this is not just America, not by a long shot. This is not just a United States corporation.
Exactly. We also should understand, too, people, especially people who claim to be scholars with certain things or whatever, to truly be regarded, I'm even very careful of that word, because to me, to truly be regarded as somebody like that, you have to really go in on the books, or let's say reading, the magical act of reading, and what reading actually does. And when you really read, what happens is you learn to read between lines, and what you also learn to do is put things together that aren't readily made available by the information that you have to be building on. So when we're talking about World War II, you can't look at it from the scope. We can look back on it now and find out all of this stuff that's going on. But there are many listeners who lived during those times and were in the war and were in Normandy and were in the Battle of the Bulge and in all of these World War II things or whatever that were living the shit that we're talking about right now. You know what I'm saying? It's just that they were in it from the perspective of living through it. Therefore, they didn't stop. A lot of us, or a lot of them, were not really aware of the ramifications of what that war was to do, as well as the spiritual implications that would come post-World War II. Because the post-World War II world was drastically different, from before. So when we're talking about certain current events that are going on now as a precipitation or as a precursor to, let's say, World War IV or V that, was already kind of in, you got to look at the similarities as to what happened back then, because remember, the illusion is that time is something that's going to progress people from one state to the other, when time manipulation that is being practiced by these people is being used kind of from the opposite perspective. It's to make you, give you the illusion that you're moving forward, when in actuality what's going on is that you're still basically in the same time. Like we said, World War II, financial collapse, you know what I'm saying? 2000, that's 33, 2009, 2008 or whatever, 2007, 2006. People have forgotten that the United States has been involved in the Iraq thing since 89. You know what I mean? And then prior to 89, they were the ones supplying these people with dirty bombs and weapons of mass destruction and money and stuff to go nuke Iran. You know what I'm saying? Because they were supporting them at the time. So with this coming war in South America, they trying to pop off. This is all a deterrent to get at the Soviets, who are backing a lot of the Latin American countries on the low, and also, face front, Yet, people like Chavez, are backed by certain ancestral stuff that has allowed him to maintain the position he's in. Because remember that the role of the United States since World War II, their foreign policy towards South America has always been regime change through assassination. You know what I'm saying? Going all the way back to Evita Perón, you know what I mean? Pacheco and all of the stuff that they was doing, as well as in Argentina, which was leftover shit that they was dealing with from the whole paperclip operation, which was to get all of the Nazis out and make them Spanish, which would then allow them to set up a power base that would eventually allow them to push further up into the United States government and then change the government from then. That's why Prescott Bush, even though he was tried and all of that, he really was indicted. Like, they went in on him. But after FDR, got up in there, and then paperclip people came up in there, all of that got washed away. Just like right now, if you was to ask somebody in China about Tiananmen Square, they don't even know what you're talking about. They don't even remember what happened there because the government has wiped that knowledge from all of the information bases in that place. So, there's a lot going on with that. You know what I mean? With this South America thing. You're going to hear them talking about tariff wars, and you're going to start hearing them talking about the Panama Canal again. You're going to hear them talk about little things here and there in the news that's going to allow you to see that they're preparing for this thing. That's also the time with the Haiti thing, being that they had to close down Guantanamo and all of that. They have to have another base. This is just one level of the plan. You have to understand whenever you're dealing with anybody, there's multiple layers and objectives going on simultaneously. So on the basic level, they need a place, a staging ground, so that way they could be able to flip their little positions, you know what I mean? But wasn't you telling me some other stuff today too, homie? Talking about
Steve Ratner is getting indicted for insider trading and money laundering and things of that nature. And Michael Bloomberg is involved in that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Didn't someone wound up dead behind this thing recently too, right?
Yeah, a young lady that Michael Bloomberg recently had recently hired on as head of this new organization that he's running in the city now. Everybody knows that, our listeners may know, at least those in the New York City area may know, that he basically put through litigation to have himself allowed to take another term, being that it wasn't permissible to go past 2 terms as mayor in New York City. So he just basically did that under the covers and put it through. But then the people still, fuck all the people still voted him through. But there's a big scandal with this money laundering thing that's going on with Steve Ratner, where Michael Bloomberg had about $5 to $10 billion, invested in this fund that Steve Ratner was running, and now you got the SEC running behind him. And right after that happens and that goes through, right before they actually go to put the clinks on Steve Ratner and expose all these things, Bloomberg takes all his money out and then opens up another firm, and he hires almost half the people from the joint Steve Ratner was running. And then about 2 days ago, a young lady that was basically, she was just fresh out of college, and Bloomberg hired her on to run the organization. She got killed in a hit and run where the driver has, to this day, not been found. He's brain dead. Sorry.
So basically they pulled a bait and switch, and they created a situation where they don't have any. She may probably have been somebody who was involved, or maybe knew something she shouldn't. Or maybe they just needed a blood sacrifice to be able to work whatever low black magic they do to help position themselves, to get themselves in a position where, that blight will make people not realize.
That's true.
Either way, we're dealing with satanic, Zionist, totalitarian, corporate, fascist, suicidal nihilists. That's to sum up to me as to what we're dealing with. Because even when we say, okay, they use, let's say, people like Bloomberg or whoever else, they are active participants in all of the destruction and evil they're doing. But at the same time, they are still in union and in communion with whatever dark entities that they're working with to make that happen. Yet, we as original people go through things, I notice, where it's like every every time we get to a certain level when we write at the man, then we find out that there's another man, you know, or that there's something else. You know what I'm saying? When essentially all of these different things are manifestations of the same future reality that is fighting for its own existence, you know. So like since we're talking about money, show you how they use legalese to be able to con you out of stuff. A lot of people have been emailing me and asking me about this thing where they're paying their bills, but then sometimes they come in back where they're saying the bill hasn't been paid, things like that. And it's like, it seems like even when you're paying your stuff on time, it seems like you can't, it's like your interest rate's still going up, things like that. Today they passed this new regulation that is supposed to protect creditor, people who are trying to get credit and things like that, but really, again, it's always a bait and switch. Essentially, what they're saying now is that the creditors, they can't advertise on schools and things like that. They can't give away like water. Remember, they was giving away like waters and baseball hats and shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Book bags.
Yeah, like teddy bears, all of that. They can't do any of that no more. They can't advertise business amongst, you know, under. And now if you're under, let's say 21, you have to have a cosigner on your credit card. So now they're trying to appear more substantial, right? What also is happening though is that the credit card companies now have the ability to share information and raise your interest rates and things like that, regardless to how. Like you could be paying your bills every month, and your interest rate can still go up. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this is coming from the national, what they call NASDAQ, as well as BBC, just so people could check it out. Also Reuters, things like that. What's really going on is that the United States so-called dollar, which is a corporate warehouse receipt and evidence of a fictitious debt that the United States, that the post-World War II United States government owes. That's why they can lock you up if you rob a bank or steal money, because really what you're doing is you're stealing evidence of somebody else's debt, mainly the government's debt, that they owe to the people who are printing the money, who is the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve, which is an agent of the IMF, is also a quasi-agency and contributor to things like Lloyd's Bank, Time Warner, all of that other stuff, Barclays of London, all of that stuff is hooked up, right? So what's the corporations and people are now telling you is that because they're phasing out the United States as a sovereign nation, or as a so-called functioning corporation, because it's not a sovereign nation, but as a functioning corporation, it's now totally just insolvent. So from an insolvent status, you go to a dissolvement, like where you dissolve the whole thing, and then you create a new resolution. So what they are trying to do is use the money as a means of biding time for them to create and bring forth the newer currency. That means that with the new currency, that also means that new birth certificates has to be reissued as well, which then means that new bonds and all of this other stuff has to be then redone and redrawn up. So in the process of this reorganization, this is taking up 90% of the government, of the fiscal government's time, so, and attention. So because the people are caught up in the little mini scandals and stuff, they're not realizing that what's happening really is that their money that they're paying is not the money that they used to pay for stuff with. So if you have a dollar bill or a $100 bill or 50 or something like that, make sure you check the S on the actual bill. You know how you have the money sign? The money sign used to have two lines in it. The second line was taken out. That second line basically represented the 2-to-1 deficit between the dollar and the peso, right? So when they took the it out, they basically turned that bill, whatever denomination it is, into a Mexican peso. You understand what I'm saying? So that means that when you take that bill with one slash through the S, which is the money sign on it, you are not paying with American currency anymore. You're paying with an American peso. Therefore, when you use that to pay your bill, it's a 2-to-1. It's a 2-to-1 difference. So that means that you're actually paying less, right? You're not paying what you're really paying for. You're paying almost exactly half. They're accepting the money as less, as a peso. They're not accepting. Right, they owe you money back, but they're not telling you that. They're keeping your extra money, right? And what they're doing is they charge you as if you're only paying them half, and they're not telling you that the money you're paying them with is not an American money, being counted as American money. So technically, right now, you could be paying bills with whatever, because they're not really, because American money is being phased out. And those who know this are able to maintain their dough because they're getting money back for whatever purchase they make. You see what I'm saying? This is all up under this whole HJR 192 chargeback, let's get our money through the Secretary of Treasury thing, which is why the Secretary of Treasury is got the low jack on right now, because he realized this was coming down the pike around the time Michael Jackson, around the time of the accident, wink, wink, of the Michael Jackson thing. Because on that day, people don't know, that was also the same day North Korea declared war on the United States. And it was also the day that China called in the note on an operation that the United States worked with China with around the time that Rush Hour and Kiss of the Dragon, the old Jet Li movies, was popping in Hollywood. That's another form of you accepting your oppressor. You know what I'm saying? The United States is not even a corporation like that no more. It's an NGO. So in that, it doesn't really have the right to function by itself. So it needs allies to be able to front for it while it organizes itself into what it's going to be. And what it's going to be is some whole other shit in where nobody is really going to be able to have anything of value that is coming from a governmental space, no matter where you are on the planet. You know? So, all of this has been going on. This also means that all of the money and stuff that you have in the bank, you know, you got to make sure that you start to specify that you want it in whatever international currency you want it in. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. People need to start taking a nice portion of their earnings and convert that into some type of commodity like gold, silver, palladium, you know, platinum, because they need that stuff to build the machines that they're using to cover all of this stuff up anyway. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they always going to need that because that's the only way that they can survive. So now is the time where I think a lot of Moors or people who are involved in trying to get paperwork and things like that straight, now is the time for you to start looking through your stuff and really weighing, you know, how far you're willing to go with it. Because, you know, just doing shit to not pay taxes and to, you know, be able to put liens on people, that's really not what it's about. And I think people should also do the knowledge that UCC stuff has really nothing to do with sovereignty at all. You know, what you're saying is sovereign, or what is being recognized as what we would call sovereign, is really something that's being recognized in its true state, or what they read. So the secured party aspect of it really has nothing to do with sovereignty. What makes you sovereign is coming from the Creator. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. What you're able to flip while you're a human on Earth is what the secure party stuff is for. That's why you should also, just as people make a delineation between a secure party and a debtor, they should make a delineation between a sovereign and a secured party. Even though they both, let's say, are the same thing, they're really not, because a secured party is dealing strictly with a commercial, or is dealing strictly with a material venue, whereas sovereignty is a universal concept that cannot be qualified on a piece of paper or, in a courtroom. So essentially, that's what was that. Also, I don't know if people heard about the whole stimulus package thing, but that stimulus package that they're talking about is basically all of the money that was held out just in case. It's basically like re-up money. You know what I'm saying? That they just use to kind of balance things out and get people right while they figure out, again, how they're going to reorganize all of these lies into a real new big lie. You know what I mean? So, again, all of these little things you see, rumblings you see going on in the world, you're already at war with Israel and Afghanistan right now. You already at, well, not you or us, but the corporate people are already at war with Israel. They're already at war with China. They're already at war with, Russia. They're already at war with themselves. So really, we don't really have anything really to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Because whoever win that fight is still going to be on some white man shit. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, it's not really going to be about anything materially significant, let's say, for us. If we're looking for a change, for our brothers and sisters that may be in that whole machine that they call an army or police or whatever, it's going to come down to a point where they're going to make you choose, if you haven't chosen already. So really, what I'm also saying, too, not to be long-winded, but to keep it real, wherever you at, man, is where you should be. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really not conscious now and you really playing with this thing and you think, you want to get up and do lectures or something, like, you could do all of that, but the world don't really need another lecture. You don't really need another tape. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need more rappers. We don't need more, we need, like, deep people who know how to be metaphysically current with their children. We need people to be able to help those brothers who are coming out of, let's say, the prison system and how victims or have been victims of rape or have even raped people and trying to figure out how to deal with that psychologically. We need people in the black community that's going to deal with the ancestral rape and torture that has happened to black little girls and black little boys done by black people, the members of their own family and shit. You know what I mean? We need somebody to come out and deal with that. We need to deal with the fact that there is a color craze amongst our own people. It seems like the more conscious we get, the more people is trying to bleach their skin and all sorts of shit. We need to deal with these type of things, and the people that's on TV are not the people who are going to help us with that. I don't give a damn how many feathers you put on Puffy. I don't give a damn how many. I don't give a damn how many lectures the Four Horsemen come to, or any of these other so-called conscious rappers. Even when you say the word conscious rappers, only a certain group of people come up. That type of shit is perpetuated by those people, as well as their handlers, as well as their controllers, as well as their programmers. You see what I'm saying? These are the things in the black community that nobody is talking about, but everybody want to come out with what happened, back in the days, and I like that because we need to know the relevancy of those things. But now that we know, how do we physically apply this? Okay, if the white man was going to date, we'd be in worse shape, because then everybody in the world is going to be scrambling to see who's going to out-white him. That's why China is the way it is right now. That's why Africa the way it is right now, Whereas everybody in the ghetto, all we got is what it is we create, and what we create winds up influencing the world. So again, it's always about us. So my thing is, like, let's find ways to achieve that, man. What I want to ask you, G, when you was in Argentina, right, and you seen the people wilding out, rioting and shit, you never felt like none of that shit was going to happen to you, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. I walked through riots when I was down there. Just chilling, you know what I'm saying? The people up in there telling me, you know what I'm saying, telling me like, yo, we about to go bang on the police and all that. We tired of this, we tired of that and whatnot. There was nobody coming like, yo, you gonna grab this dude up or something. Nah, it was built, you know what I'm saying? Like, they was looking at me like, yo, you down with the team. Let's go, you know what I'm saying? Let's go.
And you had a pheasant.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, what I noticed this Black History Month, ain't no blacks doing shit for it, right? Even the people who call themselves that, they ain't doing shit for Black History Month, right? What I saw was a whole bunch of white boys wilding out. Like, they got a website where I forget what it's called, and I'm glad I can't remember the name because I want to advertise it, but it's a website, it's a racist website where they bust down Shaniqua.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Oh, yeah, they went in. Then they had this MySpace party. They had like a MySpace-type party where these crackers was like a ghetto nigger party where they all dressed up like niggas and shit.
Yeah, with blackface and all that other type of stuff.
Yeah. Then the Klan demonstrated in the middle of Georgia again. What else? They still ain't find the serial killer that's murdered over 33 black women in the North Carolina, South Carolina area. Ain't nobody talking about that.
Nope.
People don't even realize back in the days that Calvin Butts, the nigga who run the Abyssinian Baptist Church, people don't remember that they found a woman's body up in dead in his crib.
Really?
A couple of years ago. Yeah, right before 9/11. And the chick was first seen walking dazed up and down Montauk Highway. And then they got a call, and they went to this nigga crib, and his bitch was dead in the tub, just like Brittany Murphy. Okay? So, again, he ain't go to jail for that.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Boulay covered that shit up real quick.
Yep.
And this is what I'm saying. It's not the...
On some Godfather stuff, you know, she ain't got no family.
Yeah.
You know, nobody will know about this.
Yeah, ain't nobody talking about this. Meanwhile, you got black women that's still running out here trying to be with these crackers, trying to have the babies with him, trying to be everything other than what they are. So then I had a listener email me, and she's like, well, you know, why are you so against interracial marriage, right? And I was like, I'm not against anything other than falsehood. But what I know is, if you are a black woman right now, in the so-called 2010, and you are hooking up with this so-called Caucasian man, right? You are hooking up with somebody who is going through so many metabolic changes that he cannot talk to you about, that are ancestrally and family dominated, that you would never build on. And what's worse is most of these chicks don't even want to know. They want to be on this Gandhi, let's all get along, let's just do whatever. But ask a Jew if he would rather marry a Jew or Goya. You know what I'm saying? They have no problem. No, you have to be Jewish. You have to convert to this shit. And that shit is just a bastardized version of who and what we really are. So again, you know, I'm not really against it. What I am against, what I do know, though, is that if you are in a relationship and he sees you himself as a white man, you under my control and you his slave. If you see him as a white man and he sees you as so-called a black woman, you see what I'm saying? You under some type of mind control because y'all caught up in the color shit still. Because he ain't dealing with your nationality, especially if you're born in America. See, they'll flip the shit on the Naomi Campbells and them bitches. They'll make them bitches think that they are different because, you know, she's Nelson Mandela's granddaughter, you know, and, you know, she got Zulu in her, so, you know, I'm different than the ones I was born here. When this is the oldest part of the planet, you know, in terms of the birth of civilization. But everybody always look to the opposite of where they at because they never want to build up their own power base, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. You know, it seems like a lot of the sisters, like, you know, it's like if they down, you know, if they were the white boy, it's like they can't be, you know what I'm saying, black anymore. You know.
Right.
They can't be original anymore. You know what I mean? Everything has to be different. You know.
Right.
And then on the other spectrum of that, it's like if you have, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of, you know, black sisters out there that, you know, they want to perm their hair and things of that nature. Not trying to say there's anything wrong with that, but if, you know, some of our listeners, you know, kind of peep it, you know, or even now after we build on it, you know what I'm saying, really look at it, a lot of sisters that hang out with white people, they keep their original hair. They got locks. They got fros. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it may be. They got braids, whatever it may be, right? Because they know within that square, within that cipher, that's what sets them apart. Because the white people want that, whereas you come around, you know what I'm saying, other ciphers, you know, the sisters want to have, you know, perms and things of that nature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, like, get mad at a brother when, you know what I'm saying, the sister bleaching her skin, the sister got green contacts in her eyes, the sister got a perm or weave or whatever, and then get mad at a brother when he go and get a white girl. You know?
Right. And then the brothers getting a white girl, they now caught up in the whole homoerotic thing because, according to the white man, in his medical journals and in his crazy psychological Sigmund Freud, Nietzsche bullshit, when you read all of that stuff, which again is the basis of modern political society now. We're talking about Freudian concepts. We're talking about Malthusian concepts, Hobbesian concepts. We're talking about Hegelian dialectics. We're talking about all of that, eugenics, all of that is what white supremacy is based on. So this is the basis of their assessment of themselves, in which Freud goes on to say, I forget what book it is. I think it's the one where you're talking about the it, where he basically just says, yo, you know, the white male will never love the white female because the white female is the part of him that he can never be, and that's the feminine part. But all she is a feminine version of him. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the so-called primitive races, as he described them, he goes on to say that the male is the archetype. He uses archetypes when it comes to darker people. But with white man and white woman, he basically just saying that they're both basically the same thing. Whereas a black man or a black woman are the archetypes of what the white man and the white woman are trying to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So again, when you, as a melanated person, choose to involve yourself on a lower vibration, your own pineal gland will begin to slow its vibrations down and begin to calcify itself for you to attract that low vibrational entity to you. That entity now that's attracted to you in the form of this Caucasoid male or Caucasoid female then grasps onto you and it begins to feed from you in terms of your melanin, and then they move closer to the Most High and you move further away. Then they get to recreate themselves as an original person, where all you have given your child now is a degenerated gene.
Yeah.
And that's proven because Caucasian people can only make Caucasian people with each other. Anybody else they make a baby with is whatever the nationality of that other person is. Therefore, their genetic rate of birth, no matter how many John and Kate plus 8 and 18 and over, big family, all this shit, no matter how much rate they doing, their birth rate's still 0. That's why they have to attack, then graft themselves on into other races and other people. That whole racial mixing and all that shit was not going on prior to them getting here and being dominant or being relative parts of our culture. That shit wasn't going on the way it is now. But again, we as the Moors, you know what I'm saying, forefather-wise, we was the ones trying to create this new form of devil that could then go back into the devil race and then, you know, civilize it, got caught up. The same way these niggas get caught up right now.
Yeah.
It's sick, man. So my thing is, again, if you're going to get into that, but knowing who and what your person is, the person you're dealing with is. People don't even know their own self. Black people don't even know their own self. You know, that's the other part of it, too. To me, it seems like distraction. You rather know more about this motherfucker than your own self and your own people. His life seemed more glamorous and all of that because that's what we've been bred to believe. You got niggas still walking around with Jesus pieces on, man.
Yeah.
With white Caesar Borgia pieces fronting like they are, like they know something.
Did you see the joint where Diddy's son, because his son just recently turned something or whatever, but he was buying all this expensive jewelry, and he had a cross with a dagger at the end of it.
Yeah, you saw that, right? Wasn't that horrible?
You know what I mean? Like, he got the cross with the banger at the end.
Yeah, the long sword. He had the broadsword, the Viking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Roman, Viking dirty, let's defecate on each other to stay warm in the cave shit. That's the type of shit he buying for his son. He paying the same motherfuckers thousands of dollars for that. To me, I think all of these shows, everything to me since 45 specifically has been about the demoralization of white America. Everything up until 1945 was the building up of white America. See what I'm saying? So at the same time that they reached their pinnacle, which is winning the war, which is them being able to set up NATO, they from that point on been declining. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time now that they've demoralized white America to the point, you still got these redneck crackers that's still trying to hold on to some aspect of an identity that no longer exists. The shit that came out on the Klan, all that shit started in Morris Spain, nigga. When we was hanging the crackers, when we was doing that to them.
Yeah.
They can't even they don't even have power with that. I be watching these niggas on TV, I be laughing at them now. It's stupid now to me. It's like, oh, y'all, you doing all of this to celebrate Hiram, and I'm Hiram looking at you on the TV right now doing it to you. You can't kill all of us, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like these dudes, yeah. So that's what I was saying too about the money, man. So be careful when you pay with certain money and shit, because niggas will say that the money that you paying with is counterfeit if it got one slash in it because it's the foreign currency. The one slash money through the S is foreign currency. That shit is like a Mexican peso. They taking it like a Mexican peso. So that means, again, if you are paying with, you check your bills, yo. You know what I mean? If you've been paying, yeah, that's right. If you've been paying your bills with that money, that means you only been paying half, man. We first got wind of it. Some brothers I know down here have had some successes, and they've been building on some stuff. And they've been building on this concept. But then we had saw evidence of it manifest in New York maybe 2 years ago when we did a tape. I forget which lecture it was, but it's one of the joints on the website, and we was going in on the monetary. Red China Rise, World War V, and we was going in on how the current money, where that $1.2 trillion that Guyton and these dudes flipped, where that money actually went, and where it came from. And essentially, when you flip drug money, put it like this: prior to the current war in Iraq, the Taliban, who was in control of Afghanistan, destroyed all opium production. Opium production did not begin until Operation Valiant Shield, in which they went in there to take the shit from the Taliban and set the drug farms up again. Now, this is symbolic of what happened during World War, the so-called Vietnam experiment, because that shit wasn't a war, it was an experiment on the American Army. You know what I mean? Don't let them niggas fool you. During that time, they had an organization called Air America where they was flying out the drugs out of Laos. You know what I'm saying? Which, again, was put forth in a movie with Mel Gibson and Robert Downey Jr. called Air America. But then, in 2001, post 9/11, they get rid of WBLI and they put on Air America with Jareen Garofalo and Chuck D and all these other niggas. I'm like, do these niggas do they not have Showtime? Do they not have HBO? Because this shit was just on TV like 3 days ago. You know what I'm saying? Like this, like they be doing. This is how I know they have total, or feel that they have total control of the populace, because, like, we can't be the only one saying shit like this. You know what I mean? But they are doing it deliberately, and whatever so-called black leaders, like, again, this is Black History Month. I'm calling it Black History Month because niggas ain't building on nothing about so-called black history, because the white man, matter of fact, I was watching this shit on CNN, and they had the black newscast, the first time I seen a black man and a black woman on TV at the same time since I was maybe, 20. And they was talking about, is Black History Month really necessary? And like, yo, even they was saying, it's like, yo, we know this, man. Niggas wasn't really talking about nothing. Nobody really built on nothing. Like, even Obama, they said, and they started going in on him, saying that basically his wife is the one who speak about the black shit, whereas they said, and they didn't just come out and say because they don't want him to upset the white people. They said, no, well, because, he's responsible for so many other people. You see how they talk? So again, you got a black president who, let me tell you this, if there was a Jewish president right now and fucking Hanukkah came up,
be alright.
Nigga, you be seeing red, white, and blue Hanukkah flags. You be seeing all that shit. That nigga was in on the story of Solomon and David and all that shit. That nigga wouldn't give a fuck about any German, any white man, any nigga, and he would make niggas kids stay home from school for that. See? But let him
home from school for Jewish holidays right now.
Exactly. But then what do we have? We got this nigga, right? This yelling nigga in the office, right? And what is he doing?
Nada.
Being a shiftless nigga for these white folk. And then I got people telling me, oh yeah, but he's still a brother and he got melanin and he can be in there and he may flip it on him and all that shit. Let me tell you, man. Let me tell you something. Alexis Taylor really put it well. She got this shit on a thing called Hybrid Nigga Bitches. And I think everybody should see it. Everybody. Whatever color you are. But specifically black men, black women, watch this shit. Because what you are dealing with, or what we are dealing with, as black people, as dark people, as Moorish people, as Comesian people, as Rasta people, as 5% people, as Muslim people, as Christian people, as Buddhist people, as whatever type of people you want to be. So long as you dark, you are still a nigga to them. And just because you have a so-called black president, that's even more of a reason for them to flip it on you and do all. Only shit I've been seeing in Black History Month, like I said, is white folk going in on how black people is nothing but niggas. And niggas are letting them do it. To the point niggas is even co-signing it. This nigga John Mayer went crazy on these people. But again, I didn't get offended as an individual, but as universal black people, even though I know most of my people are dumb, deaf, and blind, I still feel for them. But at the same time, I don't feel for them enough to excuse the fact that niggas be co-signing him.
Remember the joint on Kanye West's album?
Yeah.
He was like, now you about to hear.
He was a racist then.
He was like, now you about to hear one of the realest niggas in the game, and Kanye West. That's what he said on the song.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? He was a racist then. He was a racist when he was there with Jay-Z for that 9/11 ritual concert they did. He was a racist all of them times. Everybody loved him, but he ain't getting in no trouble for that. To the point where this stupid nigger Holly Robinson came out and co-signed this shit. And then somebody black must have smacked her in the face and was like, bitch, you stupid. And then she retracted it and said, yeah. And now she's trying to go in on him. Bitch was thinking she was going to be able to get a new role or something out of this shit. Because, that's what they do. They'll put shit out there. It'll be a buzz like, well, hey, if you say this about this topic or whatever, we may look out for you and do shit. And that's when you see these niggas come in like when the whole OJ shit, when all the black niggas got together and made everybody believe that, or with the Kanye shit, when all the black niggas came out and was like, oh, well, he shouldn't have said that, all this other shit. Like, they give a fuck about Taylor Swift. It's about money in the end. And the people that you see on TV, man, these people, they God is money. It's not even Lucifer. It's the money. And I'm just told you, we just built on it and showed you that the money don't even exist. So what are they really worshiping? What is really fueling this hunger to be accepted or to have some type of fictitious power that's fleeting as soon as you get it?
Yeah.
It's a desire to maintain a fictitious reality because niggas are scared to move on. Niggas are scared to be themselves without a human body to represent that. When really, these crackers are trying to figure out ways to build on that every day.
Mm-hmm.
To the point you got the Republican Party openly banging on the Republican Party. People don't know that they killed Tim Russert. They put a hit out on Peter Jennings. They put a hit out on Glenn Beck recently. They tried to kill him. This whole shit is totally out of control, man. This whole thing is a wrap. And you still got niggas that's upset because, like, you got people building on shit that they don't really even know what they building on. Like, you gotta have a certain mind to be able to. You have to have a certain mind to be able to build on certain energy and certain things when it comes to, let's say, what people would consider demonic energy or satanic or so-called Luciferian energy. You have to have a certain mind and a certain disposition to be able to deal with that on a deep scholarly level, because at any moment the shit that you're reading can catch you up, and you could be you could be a Satanist and not even know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not even know, and be perpetuating this shit and still be talking this metaphysical knowledge shit and all that, and y'all niggas ain't living that. And
Sure.
Now is not the time to be on that, because we're Saturn in Libra, right, for the next 3 years, and with Jupiter in Pisces for the next 2. Any niggas are just getting caught doing shit. You can't even, niggas just get caught. Like the white people, right? The white people.
Some white people in Haiti.
They thought they was gonna get them Haitian. They thought they was gonna get them Haitian babies, and then bow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Now they're passing notes talking about, our leader, we thought he was good, but now, we think he's a Satanist and all sort of type of shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then boom, then just like the other ones, Tiger Woods thought he could just get away with shit. Bow, caught.
Mm-hmm.
Just like what you call it, Jay-Z, Governor Patterson, involved in some shady real estate deal. Boom,
yeah.
This shit is about to blow up, these niggas. Then, not to mention the Africa slavery shit that him and Nas was caught up in. People don't know that Nas, Jay-Z is all up under the suit in the Barclays shit, where Barclays was poisoning the water to make the Africans buy the water from them. And Jay-Z and Nas was down with that shit. At least they was on paper, to the point where they being charged
went over there and did
human slavery. Yeah. Talking about I'm bringing water to the people. Nigga, come on, man. Come on,
you can't even keep the lights on in niggas' house in Marcy Projects.
I'm saying.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You can't even stop the Jews from buying Marcy Projects, because a lot of people don't know the Jews just bought Marcy Projects. They're going to kick them out in the next year.
That's right.
2011, the lease is up.
Because this is part of that whole lights out shit, where they're trying to basically just bang on Black People University, and we see in the very beginnings of this, the South American shit is going to bring in crazy shit. Because what that's going to do is it's going to show these Spanish people, or so-called Spanish brothers and sisters, or brothers and sisters who come from those Spanish-speaking countries, who consider themselves what the nationalities of those countries are, but when they come here, they try to be on some white shit.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see. You're going to see, because they're going to start using you, because they're already looking at them as a threat, because they already got this understanding that they're going to be the new majority in the United States. But that means that we are, because they niggas too. Yep. Whether they want to admit it or not, they are niggas too, because you were spawned by Moors to go back into the white race and make them look black. That's what we did. That's why we had to pay. That's why we all in the situation we in now. So again, what's worse, me saying that this is what it is, or us building on this, or it being what it is? Mm-hmm. This is what I mean, man. It's like, how many of us are really ready to do that? You know, I don't think we're really ready. I don't think they're really ready. But guess what? This cracker, he's gonna show you how ready he is.
Yup. You do that on a daily basis.
He gonna show you, man. He's going to show you. Yo, in Brooklyn, so I'm going to tell you this too. In Brooklyn, at this gallery, yo, they had a whole thing on gentrification. And, you know, I'm thinking there's some shit about, you know, making the people, you know, putting these people on the spot for it. But the whole shit was basically like a gentrification-friendly party where these niggas is talking about the effects of it, but how we can, now that it's happened, work together to make it better.
Oh, you talking about Amokata?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I heard about
that
shit. I heard about that shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, they trying to make them happy. They trying to now just be okay with colonized. So come on through and see what we can get out of it.
Exactly. You know, this is what it is. But you know, so much of them want to be, you know, they want to be accepted by white people. They want to be honorary whites. They want to be looked at as white. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, this is happening. I ain't gonna be able to live here for much longer anyway, because these motherfuckers gonna price me out. But while they here, you know, let's enjoy it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's like
go
saying,
hang out.
you know what? You know what that's saying? That's like saying, you know what? This noose is itchy, but it makes a good neck. That's saying. Like, this noose be itching, but you know what? It look good.
Word.
This is what we dealing with. So when so the people is just on a perpetual basis where we're just constantly always open. It's like people don't realize multiculturalism, globalization was or is the so-called death knell of black philosophy, black culture.
Mm-hmm.
And black culture was just a derivative byproduct of a revolutionary mind state. You see what I'm saying? That they foresaw coming then. So by the time it became Afrocentrism, that's when it began to get totally diluted, and now it's now turned into gay rights. Now it's gay rights and shit. Like, all you got to do, we was building on that. We was watching the Soul Train shit. If you just watch this thing they got on VH1 about Soul Train, they'll show you from the beginning of the Soul Train to how it ended. And you see the difference in culture and the commercials and the people and what it did, and how niggas was doing commercials where they was actually dressed up like Tunisian pharaohs and shit like that. Like, this was only 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to see a black man dressed like an Egyptian right now, I bet you'd be a slave in it. You see what I'm saying? Because the conscious, and we had less total consciousness of what we was building on then, but we had the drive.
Mm-hmm.
We had that
divine spark.
That spark to be who and what we are. We knew we was evolving and ascending into this. For what? For people like who now? Who what's going on now? You know, nothing. Who's hot now? Who's the leader now? There is none.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a group of so-called elitists who are of our complexion, who are actually hybridized, low vibration warlocks and witches. Who's doing low vibrational so-called sex magic based on Crowleyan and Akkadian and Cthulhu type bullshit that has nothing really to do with them. And that's what we got to do this knowledge to, man. It's being at the so-called Black History Month. Let's do the knowledge to the fact that nothing was created by these people that we call the people running things now. And the so-called black puppets that's helping them, you know, that's out there listening, that's coming to the lectures, that's buying the rap tapes, that's joining the police, that's doing all of this stuff. There's something in you that is making you hate yourself to the point that you want to kill versions of yourself that exist on the outside. And that part of you has to be slaved first in order for you to be able to save yourself and then save your family.
Yeah.
That part of you, black
women, throwing babies over bridges.
Exactly. Burying these black babies. All of this is to make people believe that black people are serial killers now. But the vibration of us as a people has lowered to such a level that they have become that because they believe what they read about and they see all of these mixtape covers with these rappers dressed up like serial killers and all this other shit. Why would you want to be To say it in a rhyme is one thing. Why would you want to be depicted as Freddy or Jason or some shit?
Yeah.
To show that you're killing the game? That's passe. Everybody do that. Everybody do that.
All that demonically charged music.
All this
I believe recently one of the dudes from 3 6 Mafia was killed, one of the former members. No, excuse me. He came out against Jay. Check this out. One of the former, well, I think he's still a part of the whole, full 3 6 Mafia clique, 666 Mafia clique. He comes out now because he's saying that he's a Christian and he's going at Jay-Z.
On some Illuminati shit, right?
Yeah,
they're about to sacrifice him. That's what I think is going on. I think he, they had the other day where they said that he had a party but he didn't let no white people in.
Who, Jay?
And then, yeah, is what they said. But then right after that is when I heard about the Patterson shit. You know what I'm saying? So they may be trying to make a move on this nigga, And because he's been so softened up, he's the perfect gimp because he really thought he was in, or he really think he in. We as original people can never be truly in with a lower vibrational entity. No matter how much you reduce yourself to savagery, you're never going to be as savage as that white man. Never. You got people in China right now eating, and parts of America, don't get it twisted, eating pureed babies. There's recipes for this shit on the internet, man. This is the world we living in. Special ones. But these ain't new recipes. These niggas been doing this shit. We talking about going back to the 1100s. We talking about old school shit. Like we as Moors too, as historians, we gotta start reading like other Moorish culture stuff that you wouldn't necessarily think is that. There's an old Finnish French Moorish epic called the Mabinogion. I don't know how to spell that right now, but it's called the Mabinogion, and it's all about a Moorish giant named Elric who goes through and starts knocking things out or whatever. The Finnish epics of Cuchulainn and things like that. All of these are stories about how we were slaying devils. All that dragon slaying, all that type of stuff was part of our culture. What the Zulus used to do to keep these entities outside of it, it wasn't just about them being white. It's not about that. It's about the fact that they are inhabited. Their sleep-wake cycle is 29 hours. That means there's, 5.5 hours in the day they're not asleep or awake. Your sleep-wake cycle is 24 hours. You're in tune with the planet. They not. If you're not asleep or awake and you're walking around, what does that mean? That means that you're a zombie, man. You're dead. And you don't know when that time takes place in they day-to-day life. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know when that time is taking place. So you think you be talking to him, like Paul Mooney said, that white man be right there watching you sleep with a tape measure. Measuring you and shit. Say be down at Home Depot all night and build this shit. But like this is what's going on, man. But there's something else I wanted to get into real quick before the next song. Let me see. Sometimes I make. Okay. Well, since we on Black History Month, we can get into some things. Because a lot of these, this is for more, we as original people, we like to build on our history and our culture, so we may know a lot of this stuff. But this is some Black history little points out there to let you know that you cannot exist in a world where there wasn't us. So we weren't here, and people like this didn't exist. Imagine what the world would be like. Okay, Richard Sparks created the automatic gear shift. Alexander Mills created the elevator. Joseph Gamble created the supercharged combustion engine, which eventually grew into the Hemi and things like that that Jack Parsons and then turned into the jet propulsion for the rockets and all that. Garrett Morgan did the traffic light. Albert Robertson, the electric trolley. Charles Brooks created the street sweeper. William Purves created the fountain pen. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Like, they still be using feathers. What's this thing? You know what I'm saying? Niggas would still be on some feather shit. Lee Barrett created the typewriter. Think about that. That's the precursor to the computer. Yep. This is somebody who sat down and created something that you can't imagine not being around. I can't even imagine a world without a typewriter. You know what I mean? W.A. Love created the advanced printing press. This is to be able to create mass papers. So there would be no Chicago Times, New York Times, Daily News, none of that shit. He created this machine that did it. So when you watch those movies and you see the machine in the beginning rolling out the papers about the news and all that, that's a black man. And to my knowledge, when you see the machine, the whole machine is black. Mm-hmm. Think about that. William Barry created the postmarking and the canceling machine. You know what I'm saying? Mm. So, okay, the shit is already popping in terms of the federal system and how they're using the zip code to extend their jurisdiction. This dude creates the postmarking system for them, which essentially is the Republican aspect of the federal system, because that's when you write through the stamp. Anybody can really do that. To become the postmaster general of your own stuff. If you cancel your own stamp, you put your parcel under the UPN, which is the Universal Postal System, that is run out of Vern, Switzerland. Whereas if you let them do it, it's under the jurisdiction of the United Postal System. Philip Downing, the ancestor of Will Downing, the singer, created the letter drop, which also became the bank drop. William Purves also created the handstand. Joseph Smith created the lawn sprinkler. John Burr created the lawnmower. Frederick Jones created the air conditioner. Alice Parker created the heat and furnace. Louis Latimer created the electric lamp. Michael Harvey created the lantern. Now you're talking like almost ancient history now. Imagine the world before the lantern. You still be using torches. Granville T. Woods created the automatic cutoff switch. Thomas Stewart created the mop. Mm-hmm. Lloyd P. Ray created the dustpan. Walter Simmons created the comb. Sarah Boone created the ironing board. And John Standard created the refrigerator. So, big ups to the ancestors, Ashe, to all of them who have given their pineal energy to things that we could not imagine living without. I say Ashe again to them and all of those who never get their due, especially on ritual months like this that's supposedly supposed to be here to honor them. What they were in life, some of them, again, was boule and all of that, but that's what they were in life. In death, you know, all of that can be forgiven, you know, at least I feel. So, I shade to them. You want to get into a song, man?
Yeah, we played the Black Talk off of your album, the Birth Record, at the beginning, you know. So right now we could get into this joint that's coming out on an LP with myself and my producer, you know what I'm saying? We going as the name Natural Flavor. And the name of this record is Trickle Up, you know what I'm saying? I hope people like it. And we get into that, and when we come back, and go back in on the discussion that we were having last week on the original family. That's what's up. So on that note, we're going to go into Trickle Up. I hope the people like it.
Backtrack. Life is like a race. Continue to run the laps. Hurdles could trip you up. Watch out for the traps. Maintain your speed. Running the relay because there's no reps. No rewind, no replay. It could feel like a 100-yard dash when you're chasing for the cash and your mind on the podium. But your eyes, you gotta open them. Zoom in and focus them. Life is a place filled with people like auditoriums. Oxygen is vital, sorta like a opium. Smoking on opium. Some people say Assad, yeah, we know him. Others Niggas talk about 30, scoping them. I'm sorry, there's no hope for them. I ain't come here to fall and be carried by many men. I came to get it in, late night like Letterman. Sent a letter to your editor, he told you let him in. I know that you know that I know. Life is a cycle, trickle up. Life is a cycle, trickle up. I know that you know that I know. Life is a cycle, trickle up. Life is a cycle, trickle up. Shall I proceed to begin? Focus like Jackie running. Maybe a BB, I make this look easy. Marathon man maneuvering through traps like easy. Got tracks like trains of the veins of Charlie, Billy, Miles. I got that flow you would like, so please just stay a while. Stay a while. Crack a bottle or crack a smile. Crack a Dutch. Yeah, I puff, but I don't really do that too much. I'm off in my own zone, spinning like a cyclone, so give me 5 feet, please. Whether they got blown, no time to postpone, or crack a wishbone, searching for the philosopher's stone and see everything on. This lyrical triathlon keeps going on, like the longest surah in the Holy Quran. If you know the book, you know the chapter. When you see the opening, it comes right after. I know that you know that I know. Life is a cycle, trickle up. Life is a cycle, trickle up. I know that you know that I know. Life is a cycle, trickle up. Life is a cycle, trickle up. I'm straight like my sneaks off, working with parody. Got the record, welcome to my mental art gallery. My canvas, the beat, the brush is my mentality. The paint, my pain, soul, internal gadgetry. That's why sonically you can hear my masterpiece. Gotta catch it before the van goes down the street. Pablo moves fast, bobbing to the beat. ASA Dogon, wanna know more? Check the promo, artwork and photo. I say it again, ASA Dogon, wanna know more? Check the promo, artwork and photo. You know.
Yeah, that's what's up. That was a good one, man. I didn't hear that one before. That's dope. Yeah, man. That's what's up, yo. And that's what it's really about, G. You know, tripling up. You know what I mean? Getting all 3 organs working in union, man. And vibrating or getting the body ready for the next incursion. You know? Because that's why what you were saying with the family is so important, man. The family structure is an aspect of the political structure. So long as the family is disjointed, all of these things can occur. That's why a revolution or anything like that hasn't happened in this country. It's because everybody's family is so disunified and so screwed up, and it wasn't like that. Even when the white folk had their society and they was like, let's say between 1899 and 1965. 1899, 1965. From that whole period, even while they was winning, they was declining. But they created a society or a model or a geopolitical system that had within it demonic social engineering mechanisms that could be influential in the development of a certain type of individual that could then fall into the model of what an American was to be, you know. Mm-hmm. And we are all products of that. Therefore, being that we are, let's say, the children of Israel or the tribe of Ben Ishmael or the Moors or whatever ancient name you want to give us, when we all accept that that's what we are is when we ascend. So to a certain degree, our conscious application of this lifestyle is almost is basically dependent upon each other, you know. And in that interdependence is also the weakness that is usually exploited based on our need to maintain some aspect of the feminine, which is translated into obtaining material things and material gratifications more than so-called spiritual, which then by proxy helps the entire system, which in turn is the fictitious reality created for them to exist in, the ability to keep functioning. The money is the lubricant that makes everybody run the treadmill to get, while all that's really happening is that the meter on the treadmill is getting turned slowly up, so we got to run faster and faster, and the incline is getting steeper and steeper trying to get this money, because the person that is controlling the mechanism is insane, and that person is allowed to maintain himself because he uses the cover, or it uses the cover of white supremacy as a means of subconscious unity amongst so-called people who consider themselves white or aspire to be that. Which, again, is a misconstrued concept based on the declining empire that we allowed to fall. So all we can do now, to me, is deal with what is basically right in front of our face, which is before we could even begin to deal with anything like so-called government or anything like that. Like, we got to understand, again, we don't even know the difference between, like I said, sovereignty and securing your money. You know what I'm saying? Like, we thinking it's all the same thing, and there's a deep spiritual aspect that is tied to huge amounts of celestial cosmic energy that is being pissed away by us because we have to still go into diatribes like we're going through right now, or I'm going through right now, to try to get everybody to see that regardless to how deep your situation is or my situation is, the point of our contention is the same. It is the fact that there's no such thing as a 24-hour day. There's no such thing as 7 days a week. There's no such thing as a month. There's no such thing as a year. There's no such thing as any of these things. Yet these things are relevant parts of our lives, and people make them look at it this way. If people stop believing in time right now, what would happen to the Breitling and Rolex and Cartier and all of these niggas? They be on the street. You know what I'm saying? So who really got the power? It's what we are choosing to invest our energy into, and we are investing it into distractions that are taking us away from the main problem. White folk problem is that they don't want to deal with the fact that they owe mad people for fucking everything up. That's their main problem. To me, their main problem is they don't want to accept the fact that they people is fucked up, and they are not trying to stop them right now. You know what I'm saying? Name one white person you know that's trying to physically stop a cracker from doing something to somebody. I haven't seen it. I've never seen it. I've seen images of it. You see what I'm saying? But again, anything I've seen from the TV or the newspaper is mind control shit. You see what I'm saying? There's no such thing as a journalism. What they're doing now is called yellow journalism, which is these niggas step to them with the hammers and was like, look, y'all niggas got to keep all of this shit secret for like 60 years. 40 years with like a 20-year grace period. Then y'all niggas can let shit out. But if you let it out, you got to let it out in sub-vehicles. You know, Inquirer, all of that shit is daily news. All of that tabloid shit is the news, is the same people. I got some niggas thinking Getty and Shell and all that shit is different. It's the same people. They started merging this shit in 82, niggas. This shit has been done already one thing. They just making you think it's less than that. So again, man, what we as a person who's had his family vandalized, involuntarily, to me, the only way to stop from going crazy or wilding out or whatever was to really go into why this was happening to me, meaning why my children were being put in this situation and what was I doing to contribute to that, And the only thing I could really see on a personal level with me and her was, or me and the mothers, was one thing, but all I could really see was that I was not giving anything to them. Anything that I dealt with them with was solely about the children. And I would watch them go to great lengths to get it to be opposite of that. But again, this is my perception of their actions. But again, I wasn't the one that took us to court. I wasn't the one having to pick the baby up at the precinct voluntarily. I'm the one, trying to say, let's mediate it, let's work it out. But again, once the government gets involved in it, once the black woman allows the white man to then become her God, right? Because that's how it sees it. When you make that petition and you have to write certain things. It has to be worded a certain way to make the woman appear a certain way. So again, I had police reports, still do, police reports on these chicks. I was wilding out, doing crazy stuff. That wasn't getting really answered. You see what I'm saying? So in those situations, this I think is where like the violence and all of that is supposed to come in. And when the man is supposed to just be driven to the point, because that's how the story goes. And I started really doing the knowledge to the story. Like there's always a story involved with shit. And I've watched women tell me, like, create the reason as to why they did it. When really, a lot of times, the shit be just automatic. Because they are the type of females that are so prone to post-hypnotic suggestion into what people say around them. They feel that that's the natural progression of things. We're together, we have the baby, we break up, he comes back, we try to work it out, he winds up cheating on me, I wind up having to move on, I get my own place, he is supposed to come around, he doesn't see the baby, he doesn't give money, I take him to court, he doesn't give money, I take him to court, he doesn't give money. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's how it is. That's how it is. And then you have some women who are the total opposite. They don't want to have nothing to do with the shit at all because they see it for what it is. They don't want their children involved. But the guy, the Muslim dude they was with, all of a sudden turned Christian, or this dude turned out to really be gay, or this dude wound up was selling drugs out the crib, or this dude was a molester. You see what I'm saying? We're all talking about the same energy. We're talking about black people who come from an ancestral line of so-called black people who were involved in what we would call, let's say, the Yakubian type experiments, because we are all descendants from people who were either down with it or weren't. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we was either with integration or you wasn't. You see, integration, segregation, and then integration became amalgamation. And then from that amalgamized so-called melting pot is where the so-called American was supposed to come, so long as the chief American was always a white guy. You see? So essentially we are all products of this. And the movies and our entertainers that are out there, whatever, they are all willing participants. Some are, some aren't, though. Because Angela Bassett turned down Monsters Ball, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
She wasn't trying to have that, even though she played Tina. Hello?
Movies will be dying all the time. Like, stop supporting movies and things like that make us look like animals, yo. Because we're really not the animals. You know? We're really not the ones that created. We are now the participants, and some of us the willing participants in it. But in the end, it's going to be the beginning. So we got to find a new way to transcend all of this into something else. And this is the part that people, or that I haven't heard anybody in the community really building on. You know what I'm saying? Building on to the point of an active agenda as opposed to a theorized composition of video, you know what I'm saying, that is supposed to speak to a certain group. You know what I'm saying? It's always a division. It's always a new problem with. Hello? Well, hopefully we're still on. I think we are.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Can you hear?
Yeah. That lost you for a second.
That's cool. You want to take some calls?
Yeah. If anybody wants to call in, the calling number is 347-637-1184. Just put your hand up, and, we'll open up the line to you. So we got our first caller, 757-369. Super Heru Radio.
Peace. Yeah, just real quick, I wanted to ask two quick questions. The first question is based off of my girl. She was at work the other day, and she when she worked at these white people, and she said she was looking at this lady, and she started to look like a reptilian to her, and her breathing was kind of different.
Yeah. And
then so my question pertaining to that is, who and what are the reptilians, and where do they come from? And then my second question, real quick, earlier you was talking about dealing with certain levels or degrees of knowledge, and if you're not equipped, you won't be able to handle it. So if you could explain more on what the effects of certain, let's say, like meditations, rituals, and astral planar techniques without exercising proper precaution can do in terms of human possession.
Thank you, brother, for calling in. Those are great questions. To answer your first question, what we see as Caucasian people today are an amalgamation of a bunch of genetics that was crossbred and allowed to incubate in caves for a couple of thousands of years. And when they finally emerged, they were melanin deprived. So
right.
They were insane to a degree, and they went savage. So we locked them up behind these walls and things like that. And then stories of the Yeti and the Sasquatch and stuff like that, abominable snowman and all of that became what they were. So we would forget about them. But there came a certain time when, again, that part of the family that was down with the experiment decided that they needed to be civilized and brought into the human family somehow. So
right.
In that, they went up there and allowed them to come in and eventually became known as Jews under the auspices of a concept called Judaism, which was a symbolized version of Hebrewism or Hebeduism, which was basically Moorish magic from places like Granada and Toledo and stuff like that. So we eventually used them as products, as money changers, to sell off the wild Caucasoids that we would get.
Mm-hmm.
And then those, but then when we started having problems with ourselves, half of us started civilizing them and then giving them masonry and stuff. and then use symbols to bring them into a certain degree of readiness, and then we freed them and then accepted them, and that's when they became free and accepted Masons. This in Masonry was called the war between the ancients and the moderns. And then they used their ability now as noblemen to marry into these Moorish families, and then bred about Obama-type Moors that laid the groundwork eventually for things like the Boule and the niggas we're dealing with today.
Right.
But eventually, sometime around the 40s and 50s, these so-called white men, Freemasonic, satanic white men, made a deal with these with the past version of them that we would call the Greys or reptilians. And that deal was that they would be able to abduct white people, right?
Right.
And use their genetics to be able to create a new form of white man that they both could exist in, the Gray and the white man.
Mm-hmm.
But what the white man realized later was that the Gray was basically using a white man to incarnate these lower dimensional entities and have mad of them live in one person, right? So Bush got mad demons in him, or mad Grays in him. And the satanic technology was just used as a means to facilitate the possession. Black people, or the black hybrids, were the ones who came from that stock of whites who had been grafted in and decided that they were going to maintain this fictitious reality because in any other reality they would not exist. You see what I'm saying? And this became the war between the light skin and the dark skin that exists to this day. See what I'm saying? So essentially we're dealing with the so-called Caucasian who is a so-called reptilian, but that reptilian nature is not really him. That is the part of him that has given himself over, that exists in that 5 to 6 hour window, right, where he could shift out, become, let's say, a vampire or eat somebody like that or whatever. That's why you got to go through degrees in this society to be able to get to that level, to be able to do that. So you either go into a shrinerdom, which is where you worship the black man penis and the black woman's vagina, in secret, or you do something else. Or you go to Scottish Rite, which is the Luciferian Satan. You either become a vampire or you wind up dead in a ritual person.
Right.
So in that's essentially what they are. So technically they're not even Caucasian people. So, anything that don't have a name don't exist. So all they do is take other names. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I got that.
All right. So, yeah, man, thanks for calling.
All right, peace.
Peace. 713-213.
Oh, peace.
Peace.
I come and write this name with truth and purity, Allah. I'm out of Houston. It's good to hear your brothers on the radio, man. Peace, God. Geniuses think alike. I was just watching Tim Wise today. Cracker tripped me out, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, right? Tim Wise. I said I was just watching Tim Wise today, right? Okay. And just kind of touching on what you were touching on. He said something real powerful earlier. He said that, he does his little lectures and things, right? And he was saying how black women come to him crying, asking him how or should they give up their identity as Moorish women so they can assimilate themselves into society. And that's sad when you got our women, going to this dude who preaching our truth, that what we've been saying since Malcolm, asking him should they give up their whole identity so they can get bent over. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then I was watching the thing on the Afro-Ecuadorians on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So they waking up. Our brothers to the south, they waking up. Because I know a lot. I'm in Houston. So, I got all the Spanish nationalities is down in Houston. We right by the border.
Some of them are the darker ones. That's the darker ones.
Yeah.
That's the Asiatic.
Exactly.
See, exactly. Man. But see, those are the ones. Those are the ones that they banging on in Israel. Those are the ones they banging on in Iraq. Those are the ones they bank on in Afghanistan. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Because I got a brother of mine. What did you say, G?
Say again?
I'm sorry, you breaking up. What did you say, G?
Yeah, I was saying thanks for calling in, my brother. Thanks for that knowledge.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's what's up, bro.
Peace, King.
508-583. You're on with Super Heru Radio.
Hi. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. Could you elaborate on and break down how the biological chemistry that's being changed in the black woman by like certain various factors of the environment, like the food and just the the condition that we're living in, is also affecting that mindset where she's having that insane type of behavior and the whole how that's affecting the family.
Thank you for calling in, Queen. Yeah, essentially, none of this stuff is going to go down without the black woman being involved. That's why the black woman is always the one in the movie, like in The Matrix, that's making the deal with the white man in the end, because she represents Newt, or Nuit in satanic circles, and she is the divine black woman that represents the black hole, that represents all or everything that is closest to or is the Most High. So a black woman's vagina is literally the same as the black hole that you see in space. I don't give a damn what anybody tell you, what any white man, black woman tell you. You are cosmically the physical archetype of everything that is material. Mm-hmm. If you weren't here, and the black woman wasn't here, nothing would be here. The energy that it took to create everything was such a capacity of love and respect and adoration that it had to be qualified in an archetypical form to be able to fully express itself. And that is the original woman. She is the most prized and the most loved. It is the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. That's why the dark-skinned black woman is so hated on. That's why these niggas that do these videos every day that have all these light-skinned, so-called hybrid women in it, when that's not what you see every day in the hood, are all down with enslaving and killing you. And they hate women, So essentially, a lot of the changes that are happening in the black woman, everything in her is telling her that she is to prepare for something. But she can't qualify what exactly it is, but it is something that is coming and something that is going to be monumental towards her. And so she is looking for somebody or something or somewhere to be and someone to be with that is going to be able to go through that with her. And that feeling is being thwarted and inverted on itself for her to want everything other than what she needs, which is the original man. But he is going through the same thing. But they think it's different because they are both in bed with the enemy. So when I call you queen, I'm really calling you what you are. Whereas when other people call you queen, they calling you what they think that word means. So it's more important that you know that these changes that are happening in you don't mean they're crazy. It is a alchemical process that's making you prepared to become a celestial goddess for real.
Because I noticed that even within myself personally, like as soon as I started to get into consciousness and started, the vibrations started rising and everything, I just noticed within my own body, just certain changes, I couldn't eat the same food anymore. I had to basically cleanse and detox my body even physically, So so I could see that changing occurring. And Brother Phil Valentine broke it down too, that when you feel and look your worst and your sickest and your worst, you're about to be able to perform the most healing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And when you as an original woman hold on to yourself and hold on to that black hole, you deny access to these low vibrational wizards entry. That's why they be trying to have sex with little kids and stuff, because they want to get to that level of God that's pure. And implant their consciousness in the consciousness of that child, so that way when they die, they can come back immortally as a consciousness imprinted, which is a demonic entity. You have a lot of Aleister Crowleys out here. You got a lot of Madame Blavatsky's out here. You got a lot of Ashtaroths out here. You got a lot of different demonic entities that niggas is acting like they know they talk about, and they really don't, man, because these entities are not something that is from the outside. They are something that they are alchemical processes that actualize in consciousness the more you understand them. And if you don't have a clear understanding of yourself, they will mask themselves as you and imprint their consciousness as your consciousness. And you will be living as them while they're creating a box to put your real consciousness in. And eventually you are watching yourself like the baby, like the dude at the end of being John Malkovich. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for calling, Queen.
No problem.
Peace.
Okay, once again, the calling number is 347-637-1184. If anybody else wants to call in, I see, most of the people that called in now, they're all good. So, yeah, man, you're coming down to about the last 13 minutes. I want, from now, I'd like to thank all the listeners for listening in. Sometimes, we can be long-winded and, get a chance to, thank the listeners, for tuning in, supporting us. I like to, do that now. And we definitely have, a good, ample amount of time to do that. And the floor is yours, brother.
Yeah, man. I want to thank the people, for listening and bearing with me and, my opinions of things based on the research that I've done on these topics. And I appreciate everybody's support, letting me know that I'm not the only one that's seeing it like that. And if Super Heru Radio can be anything, I want it to be a place where we as original people can really lay down what we intend to aspire to be and become. And when we build on the rhetoric and the mundanities of this thing we call physical reality, we build on it from the perspective of observers more than active participants in. Because even when you're going to work every day with this type of consciousness, eventually you're not going to be there. So it don't matter how much you attain. The people who have attained all of the money are the people with no knowledge, and the people with all the knowledge have not attained the money, because the reality cannot allow that. Because if Puppy was really going to wear a fez, let's say, and I'm just using him as a comical example, if he really was the wearing a fez, he wouldn't be seen. You wouldn't know him. He would be at the lectures with everybody else. You see what I'm saying? But these niggas ain't. And what you have now is a bunch of rappers, who are coming in and or niggas trying to position themselves as rappers, doing tapes or whatever, and what they're doing is they are creating a segue for this low vibrational wizardry to come in, which means that you're allowing the low vibrational energy of fagotism and bestiality and all of the low vibrational things these individuals do when you're not around. How many people got Ray Hagen tapes listening? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And I'm just using him as an example because he's been the one that's been outed, you know what I mean, recently. So, again, that don't mean that some of the shit he was saying wasn't true. It just means that his intent wasn't true. So, again, get the knowledge, keep it moving. It ain't just him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, really interesting.
You're dealing with the same entity manifesting through different people who think that they don't have no connection to each other, that are totally connected because they're both inhabited by the same demonic consciousness, which is really made up of the worst part of themselves that they haven't dealt with.
Yeah, that they haven't come to terms with. We have our hand up. Go to this call. 770-784. You're on Super Heru Radio. Peace.
Hey, peace, brothers. What's going on, man?
Peace, brother.
What's up? I see this is Jamal down in Atlanta, man.
Hey, what's up, my brother? How you doing?
Doing pretty good today, man. I had a quick question about Kundalini, man. Wondering these 3 symptoms are maybe possibly, I guess, symptoms of Kundalini. I get jolts of energy, you know what I mean, that throughout the day. I'm starting to remember dreams that I've had well over 10 years ago, as well as the loss of appetite. Like I find myself in the daytime, you know, I'll be here doing the knowledge, researching, man, listening to you brothers and reading, doing different shit, man. I really don't have an appetite, you know, I don't be hungry.
Yeah, you don't be hungry. You just realize, wow, I should eat.
Yeah, later on, or, you know, sort of snack on something, you know.
That's what's up. No, brother, what you're experiencing is the spirit, or the spirit awakening to itself and aligning itself with the soul, and the soul quantumly getting the body ready for its departure. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all moving closer to the point that we're about to manifest some next level stuff, because we're doing it already, but it's happening in a mundane level that we're not really dope. Well, not you, but a lot of us are not paying attention to. So essentially, when you feel these things, the best way to channel it would be to create something, or do something that is like, if you have a crystal, you can get you a nice quartz or a good amethyst, or a laramie. Because the laramie will calm you down. But
Laramie, can you spell that for me real quick? I'm sorry.
Laramie.
Laramie. Okay.
And you could hold that. You could keep a crystal with you, or even if you get an obsidian crystal. If you get an obsidian crystal, you could rock with that. Everybody that's conscious, that's on some real dark matter, dark plasma shit, everybody should have either a crystal, a dark black obelisk, onyx obelisk or something, or like a venturine, or some type of crystal that you work with it, because the crystal will take on the properties of what it is you channel, and it will hold the energy for you. You know, so thanks for calling, my brother.
No problem, man. Thank you, Creator, for both you brothers, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, King. Thank you. Peace.
All right. Peace.
All right. Yeah, man. That's we all should have that. If you look at the movie The Knowing, Nicholas Coppola's children had little black pieces of obelisk or whatever with them. So that's because, again, that black onyx is symbolic of the same energy that I'm talking about that's manifested from the original, especially the original woman. So, again, dark-skinned girls, don't believe this bullshit, man. They got y'all fooled. They all are trying to be you. How is it that these niggas are saying white is better, but all these bitches is getting fake ass implants and fake breasts and fake teeth and fake lips, all to be a dark-skinned black woman? So you want it all without the dark skin. But the dark skin is the shit that makes it pop. Like, we only, as men, find these bitches hot because they got bodies like black women. So cut to the chase.
You got another.
But if you look at the porn average of all of these different races, all of these other niggas, the Jews, the Arabs, the Russians, all of these niggas is watching black woman porn. They not watching no white woman.
We got another caller in the queue. I guess this would be our last question for the night, and then open the floor to the brother, and you're going to be saying peace. So,
word.
You're on Super Heru Radio. Peace.
Peace. Peace, brother. You there? Anybody there?
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Hello?
Peace, Queen. Hey, Queen. We're here.
Yes, hi. I'm Estelle Light, and I just wanted to ask, how can one astral travel and get out of this plane?
Thank you for the call.
Of existence.
Thank you. Real quick, one of the easiest ways to do it is to program your dream self before you go to bed. Get you a glass of water and fill it to the top, and sit at the edge with your hands and your feet planted firmly on the floor. And you look at the water in your hand, in your right hand, and say that when I drink the other half of this water, I'm going to remember my dream. you got to start remembering your dreams first. Because then when you remember your dreams, instead of writing them down, you draw them. After you've drawn enough of them and you understand that level of it, then the next thing you do is begin to have what you would call a lucid dream, where you could be sitting down watching TV and kind of zone out. You can do that and still maintain a certain degree of your consciousness. Then when you go to sleep again, do the same thing with the water, but this time say, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to remember how far I actually traveled. See, you start by remembering it first, and then once you remember it, you eventually remember how to do it, and then you can just do it.
Okay, thank you.
Peace. Thank you.
Peace, man. All right, we down to 4 minutes.
That's what's up.
Here's one more call.
I get one more in?
Yeah, you can get one more in.
Okay.
925. Peace.
Peace.
Hello?
Peace. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, you guys didn't say the phone number. I just had a quick question about health. I've been into natural food for about a half a year. And, I wasn't into it before, and I know that we as melanated individuals have these perfect and powerful pineal glands, but, depending on certain foods we eat, certain substances we take into our body, we can actually calcify our own pineal glands. And I've been doing research on that. One of the things I've found is that, I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard that if you use borax, probably not, what you find in the laundry section, but pure natural borax will actually decalcify the pineal gland. And I was wondering if you had heard anything about that or know anything about it.
Yeah, actually. Thanks for the call. And, yeah, I did. I did hear that was true. And I did hear that you can, by eating huge amounts of, green salad, drinking chlorophyll, things like that, that helps flush out your pineal gland because the energy in that is symbolic of melanin, so it's real good. I would just stay away from anything. I would stay away from anything that's not growing out the ground. So tofu, soy, all of that stuff that's turning into decay. You don't want to do that, and you want to do stuff that if you're gonna eat some type of flesh, fish would be the best. I would just make sure you clean thoroughly to get rid of most of the mercury, and any type of meat or whatever, I would say lamb is the leanest if you want to do it. Chicken and all that is cool, but it's better if you own your own chickens and shit as opposed to buying them, because the bought one is all yellowed out and bovined up. The bovine thing is in not just the cows, but it's in everything, So also get wild fish as opposed to caged or farm raised. That's the G too. The whole green movement and all of that vegetarian movement, as far as the people really doing it, these white folks, all of that was started by the KGB. The communists invaded that shit in the late 70s, early 80s, and turned it into what it is now. That's why they're so crazy with the whole organic thing. Meanwhile, this nigga Charles is the one hoarding all the seeds. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man, thanks for the call, brother.
Okay, well, is that it? Because I kind of had a little bit more to say, but if you guys are done, then...
Well, please call in next week, only because we got 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Peace.
Yeah, so with that, thank you for calling in the Super Heru Radio. Thank you, Saga Saad Ali, for, being my brother and doing this with us and doing this together. If you want to holler at me at houseofl@hotmail.com. You can see any of the DVDs and other products we have, www.ISayTheDucateers.com. My brother, it's on you.
Once again, thank you, brother, for having me and hosting the show with me. Us doing it together. First and foremost, thank you to all the listeners, out there who came to, build with us and listen in. Again, a lot of the, listeners, that have been listening for the last couple of shows that we've been doing, they can see, the format that we're really trying to go with. And we always encourage, the listeners to call in. We're doing it for 2 hours now. I think, we might split it up a little bit differently. So, So, again, you can always email us and give us your ideas and your questions and your comments. We greatly appreciate it. We love, doing this and, building with the people. Everybody, if you want to get at me, you can reach me at myspace.com/SagaAssad, SAGAASAD. And outside of that, I just like to say peace.
Word, peace. Super Heru Radio. You can check me out there on MySpace, www.ISayTheTruthIsTears.com. We love you. We'll be speaking to you soon, man. Holla at us. Peace.